Relationship issues
Relationship Talk.
on 702.
Leigh Joy is joining us, and she needs no introduction. Leigh is relationship coach. She's in the studio with me to help us really go through what may seem like a very simple discussion and help us unfold it and peel it like an onion to get to its complexities so that we all, at the end of the day, learn something a little bit better. Leigh, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702.
So good to see you.
Lovely to see you as usual. You know, we're in an era where rapid social and economic change, a recurring question occurs through conversations and media. Are traditional relationships in decline? Fewer and fewer people are getting married, and they are doing it later. Both men and women are older when they first tie the knot. It looks like it's not business as usual in the space of relationships, Leigh. Firstly, maybe let's establish that. Are we experiencing some tectonic shifts of sorts as far as relationships? Are things changing? Are relationships on a decline?
So I think that's a good question. So number one, what do we mean by relationships on decline? Do we mean that there are less people getting into relationships, and or do we mean that relationships themselves are on a decline? So I think I've done some research around are less people getting into
Yeah.
relationships. So the national sorry, my phone just died. The National Research Foundation of South Africa says that marriage rate plummeted from over 3 marriages per 1,000 people in early 2000 to just 1.7 per 1,000.
What? From what to
from
1.3?
three
From three.
three marriages per 1,000 to
Yeah.
1.7, so almost half.
Yeah,
We've
yeah,
almost halved.
yeah.
Then Stats SA records show that annual registered marriages dropped from 150,852 in 2014
Yeah.
to 102. So just short of 40,000 people. That's 28% decline over a decade.
Over a decade to 2024, right?
Cool.
Sure.
And then 60% of South Africans have never been married.
The lucky bunch. I'm kidding.
So there are various reasons
Yeah.
why that is. Okay, so number one, we've got an app. People meet each other through apps, and there's app fatigue. So people are getting tired of meeting people online.
Yeah.
There isn't that much trust in it. They've got app fatigue. There was one crazy stat here: 142 hours a year that people spend on average on dating apps. That's a lot of hours.
142 hours a year that people spend on relationships. On
just on trying to find a relationship.
online, that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then, but only 5 meaningful connections come out of that.
What?
The ROI on that is very poor.
Yeah. Listen, and I am just trying to grab my calculator or my phone quickly, and then that would be 142 divided by 24, meaning
Yes.
24 hours. It means almost 6 days in a year that people spend in 1 year. 6
Swiping.
days, people looking for love, swiping. 6 days of your life. Oh
And
my
then
goodness.
only 5 meaningful connections, not relationships, connections.
Goodness me.
So people are definitely looking at, I mean, it was interesting. I at first did an American search, or
Yeah.
just a global search, and then I did a South African specific search. And they say here, the decline in romantic relationships and formal partnerships is happening in South Africa too. In some metrics, the shift is even more dramatic than the global averages. So now I went, okay, but why? So they said the cost of Mayolo. So is that Labola?
I don't know.
Mayolo?
I don't know what Mayola is, I must.
okay.
It sounds Mexican to me.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah. So then they're saying Labola bride price
Yeah.
creates a steep financial barrier, forcing many young couples to delay formalizing
Oh.
their relationships.
We've got amazing producers. What you called Mayolo
Yes.
is Mjolo.
Mjolo.
Mjolo is, you see, it's dating.
Ah.
And casual relationships, dating in that
like
stage.
situationships.
But you're dating, you're in a relationship, but you're not married. It's not formal as yet, but you are together. You're together.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you're
yeah.
a partnership, but you're not
Yes.
married yet.
Yeah, and they're
Okay.
saying that that's very expensive, right? Because the current trends is that when you're involved in Jolo, the dating, it simply means that if I were involved, a lady would then say, Tab, I'm doing my hair this weekend. I need $3,000. And then next week she'll say, my mom is around. I need $1,000. And so I suppose they're meaning that the cost becomes a deterrent. I don't know. I'm assuming based on what you're saying.
So that's interesting that you bring up finances because I've seen it in my practice as well that there's this disproportionate expectation on men with regards to money.
Yeah.
Where women are essentially earning more money than men, but expecting money from their partners.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a gross generalization, but I have seen it amongst some of my clients. And I think that it's an important conversation that we can have at another time.
Yeah.
But I think that it puts massive strain on relationships. But now we're talking about, the decline of relationships. With regards to women, 50% of local divorces are now initiated by women.
Yeah.
And there is a 8.9% increase of divorces, while marriage numbers are shrinking. I know this is like for the nerdy people out there. We'll get into the emotional side, but I just had to give some stats. Divorces on the rise, increasing 8.9% in recent tracking. So and women are initiating
Yes.
the divorces because they'd rather have peace than have to deal with difficult stuff. But I think men would feel the same way. I mean, women may initiate the divorce, but it doesn't mean that men don't want to get divorced as well.
I think you've summed it up very beautifully. As much as women may, a guy is saying, thank goodness you're the one who initiated it, and I'm out of this without any responsibility thing. But let's come back to the issue at hand, the decline of intimate relationships. So we've established that it is true, for one, that there are lesser and lesser relationships, intimate relationships, lesser and lesser people getting into intimate relationships. One, we have also touched a little bit on one of the possible factors, which is money. That may discourage some men and women, the financial aspect. Are there other critical issues as far as relational interactions are concerned of dissuading either men or women from participating in relationships?
I think trauma has become more and more prevalent in our society, and children are raised in traumatic environments.
Yeah.
And so when they grow up, or even from their teenage years, they're showing, even with teenagers, that that they're having less and less relationships. But I think that trauma plays a very big role in people getting into relationships, getting scared in relationships, not healing their trauma, and then bouncing back out of relationships. And I think that there's a fear of letting down my guard and being vulnerable and being taken advantage of. And so people would rather not get involved. Like the whole situationship has risen massively in our society. And I think, or should I say, I know, because of the advent of women's empowerment around sexuality.
Yeah.
But I think that it's damaging our society with regards to the situationship and the loose arrangement around sexuality.
Yeah.
Because I think that we don't know the real impact of having sex with somebody or being intimate with somebody, and the role that has on our body, our spirit, our emotions. And we just blow it off and go, it's just sex.
Yeah.
And when there's a deep emotional rift or a disagreement between a partnership, I think people really struggle to reconnect and move through those difficult.
Let's take a break, Leigh, but when we come back, I'd like us to look at the possibility of a super hyped instance of independence that we are exposed to in the media and everywhere else we go, that it's okay, be alone, you don't need anyone else. What role does that play in dissuading people from engaging in relations? Relationship coach in studio, Leigh Joy, is sitting in front of me, and we are asking if relationships, intimate relationships, are on a decline, or as we know them, or perhaps they've changed shape. We don't know. I'd love to hear from you, by the way. Feel free to give us a shout at any time on 011-883-0702. Alternatively, just send a WhatsApp message or a text message or voice note to 072-702-1702. Are you less and less likely to get into an intimate relationship than you would have a few years ago? And have you been single for long? What kind of relationship do you now want? Do you want a different relationship? And are you recently divorced? Do you want to go back into that space? Or do you feel like you escaped Robben Island? You don't want to go back? Let us know on 011-883-0702. Leigh, we were busy talking. I mean, we established that finance is one issue, and I was asking you about how now the concept of independence is glorified, is heightened. It's really the center that you can do things on your own. I'm wondering to what extent that then overflows to the aspect of relationships, to an extent where we feel, I don't need a relationship. I'm okay the way that I am.
So I'm going to be controversial.
Please do. That's how I like
So
it.
if we look at the baby boomers, right, the majority of baby boomers were married young. Fathers were and husbands were the sole breadwinners within the family. Moms looked after home. But there were some feelings of disempowerment on women's parts because they felt like what the men said had to be done. We then, Gen X, were then raised, and we were like, no man's going to tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to go out and earn my own money so that I don't get told what to do. We then went out, made our own money, and became super hyper independent. And in the meantime, we've done damage to our children because we've taught our children we've rubbished men.
Yeah.
And so our children, both boy children and girl children, have been raised to believe that if a man doesn't pay, he's a rubbish man.
Yeah.
So there's this. So then we've got Gen X, Gen X. Then we've got Generation Z, and then Alpha, that are questioning their ability to value themselves and to be in partnership with others, so that they can be co-reliant on each other, because they haven't necessarily witnessed that in their parents. So we've got a massive, 60% fatherless society. And I think that women have and this is the controversial part, but I say this with so much love and compassion and kindness to myself and to others, because I feel like we can change this. But through rubbishing men and becoming hyper-independent, we have created a society where we are less connected, we are living more in silos, and our children and society is not benefiting from a close connected society. And therefore, there's more trauma, there's more gender-based violence, there's more addiction, and there's more grief.
26 after 11, you are on 702. I'm Thabo, standing in for Clement. Are relationships on a decline? Are you staying single for longer? Are you getting married later on? Or divorced and choosing not to get into a relationship? Do share with us. I'm interested in hearing from you, hearing your stories about relationships on 072 702 1702. What are the benefits of being alone as opposed to being in a relationship? Or I should ask it the other way around, Leigh. If relationships are really on a decline, are there still much benefits of entering a relationship given the landscape, how it looks like right now? What do I have to gain by just being with one person for the longest possible time?
So I think that people will feel like there's a financial implication of being single that's good and bad. Well, not like that works and that doesn't work. People who are in relationship, living together, can share expenses. People who are single have to carry that expense on their own. I think what people don't realize, and why I love the work that I do, is people think I'm happier on my own. I don't have drama. I've got peace, but they don't realize that you've got peace because nobody's triggering your stuff. Nobody's mirroring. Like when you're in a relationship, people mirror the stuff that's unhealed, right?
Yeah.
So when you get into a relationship, like, oh, I've got no peace. And I was watching, there's a Facebook group called Ask a Man. And the one person asked, like, what does a man look for in a marriage? And so many men were like, peace, peace, peace. And I was like, yeah, bro, but you got to bring it then as well. So the benefits of being single, I think, are short-sighted in that we feel like we're not getting triggered by anybody and we can live in peace. But I think that we're missing out on such a core opportunity to grow and develop. And I think we were created as communal people to live in fellowship with each other. I don't think we were created to be silos and independent. And I think there's such a beautiful movement around codependency and interdependency and independency. And the most powerful work I've done with couples is helping them move from this hyper independence and codependency. So independence is like you depend only on yourself. Codependency is that you hand over your own needs to another. And interdependence is where you're both independently connected to each other.
I want to ask you this before we go to Eyewitness News headlines about perhaps being alone brings a little bit of peace simply because it's very difficult to find a compatible partner. You may find a partner, but not every partner is compatible to you. And perhaps the difficulty in finding the right match for you, for your life, for your personality is also a discouraging aspect of this.
Yeah, I mean, compatibility and chemistry often get confused. I don't think there's ever a perfect match. I think that we're all needing to grow and develop. And I know some people say you shouldn't compromise. And I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, because I think there are some aspects of our lives that's important to compromise. And as long as it's coming from both sides. But if it's a value you're compromising, that's a problem. But if it's a behavior or a situation, then it's a different story. Let me be practical. Like, he didn't wash the dishes last night. So this morning, it's really irritating me that the dishes aren't washed. Am I going to lose my rag about not having the dishes washed, or am I going to compromise and do the dishes? But if I'm always compromising and always washing the dishes, that's a problem. So I think, I don't know, I am old school. I'm for relationships. I think that Adam and Eve were created like we are created to be in partnership. And I love the work that I get to do with couples and to help them to step into their power within themselves and within the relationship to become the very best versions of themselves.
I'm going to ask you about that, as to what you do with couples and how do you help them to see the value of a relationship. Let's go straight to your calls. John is calling us from Mamelodi. Morning, John.
Morning, Thabo. I'm sorry for being a dominator here. But
You are most welcome. This is home.
I love this topic. Listen, Thabo. the reason why I prefer to remain single as a visually impaired person, some people would want to take advantage of me. They wouldn't love me for who I am, but instead they would want to love me for what I have. For example, if I am working, and try to live my life to the best ability that God gives me, the people start looking at me, but not as a man. They would only want to get close to me because I'm working. I'm getting an income. But as soon as we get into a relationship, you'll find that now this woman wants to treat me as a child. Instead of me being a man, it becomes as if my reasoning capacity is weaker than the woman. I'm sorry for being controversial.
Yeah.
But this is how we are treated as disabled people in society. So that's why we sometimes prefer to be, single. Although I personally do wish to have a partner, but I'm asking myself, what this partner would she be? Is she willing to understand me? How long?
John, the line is not doing you any justice, but I think we got the gist of the issue. As a disabled person, they love the advantages, the financial advantages that come with that. But once they're in a relationship, they treat you like a child, Leigh.
Sure, that must be really hard.
Are those your clients calling for more advice? They can just tune into the station for a discounted price, right?
Exactly. I'm like, oh my gosh, my phone is ringing. Stop it.
Well, 22 minutes to 12 o'clock. Leigh Joy is my guest. She's a relationship coach. And we are speaking about a decline in intimate relationships. Are you more likely to not get into a relationship, an intimate relationship, especially after you've tried it so many times? Now you feel not so much, because studies show that more and more people are not getting into relationships. Divorce rate is getting higher, and at the demise of that mutuality taking place, Leigh?
Exactly. I think that when we look at each other as resources, sex or money, those are often the two resources that people, and I guess time. I think, I think if you go and look at the stats, we live in a society that's more lonely than ever before.
Really?
And we are yet more connected than ever before with regards to cellular and Wi-Fi and so. And I think if you look at the research of our young people, like Alpha and Gen Z, and the schools are starting to see that their cognitive ability is declining.
Yeah,
so I think the more and more reliant we become on tech, and I can see it in my business as well, Thabo. Since last year when AI really hit the scenes, my business got quiet.
Really?
People are going to ChatGPT or Claude or whichever one, and they feel like they're getting good feedback from AI, and I think AI can give you good ideas of what to do next.
Yeah.
But AI doesn't hold you accountable. It can't see your blind spots. It only gives you what you put in. It doesn't have an understanding of your full history, only the history you've put into the AI. And so I think that we're going to have in a year or two a massive deluge of people coming back into therapy, realizing how lonely they are because of AI. So I use AI in my business alongside coaching. So it helps me to create coaching programs. It helps me with journal prompts and that. So I'm not rubbishing AI. I think it's great, but I think that I'm very, very concerned to see the decline in people seeking help when there is a bigger need for support and coaching and counseling than ever before.
I think this is one topic that we don't touch on as much as we ought to, especially about disabled individuals and love. And at times, I don't know, and I don't mean to be disparaging, I don't mean to be offensive in any way. It's just a pronouncement. If I'm wrong, please, I apologize in advance. Where, as John has expressed, some are seen as a convenient means for a certain objective from their potential partners, where someone says, perhaps I'm not involved with anyone for now, but here's John, let me in the meantime be with them. I'm going to enjoy the money, I'm going to enjoy whatever, but the nitty-gritties of a relationship inside, that's where the true colors show, where the person is not valued as an individual. They are then subhuman in the eyes of a partner who's not disabled. And then they're treated not like a man, but as John has said in his words, like a child.
Yeah, I think it can't be easy. I think that to get into a relationship with somebody who's disabled and to understand what their needs are and how to not baby somebody.
Yeah.
And that when you love somebody, you naturally want to take care of them.
Yeah.
But how are you taking care of somebody that makes them feel less than? I think, and I think that's a journey to learning how to doing that differently, right? I don't think any of us wake up one morning and know how to do that.
Yeah.
So I think the onus does unfairly, I guess, to some degree, rely on the disabled person to educate other people on how to treat them.
Certainly. 011-883-0702, 072-702-1702.
Hi, Abutabo. I think singlehood or singleness is wonderful if you want it, not when circumstances are forcing you to be single. But I also realize that how relationships are in the 20th century is different to what it was before. I find that people in this age don't believe in marriage. They want they want the benefits of marriage, but not the marriage itself. So I think also that's why it's difficult to find a relationship, whereas one might be looking for commitment that leads to marriage, whereas the people that one might meet, they don't want that. They believe in things like partnership, and some of us don't understand what partnership is. We understand partnership maybe in the terms of being married to someone. We understand commitment in the form of one ultimately gets married, whereas people find that they just wanna have kids with you, and when this doesn't work, you just go separate ways. And also, you find people who want a different kind of marriage. They don't want to live with you. So some of the people who are old school, that's why they end up being single, because kind of like you don't know where you fit in, or how to fit in, and how to now adjust to the the newness of reinventing relationships, I guess.
Yeah, conventional relations. Leigh?
Yes, I'm sorry I didn't catch your name.
Busi.
Busi, thank you, Busi. I think we do have. I mean, I'm old school, right? So I understand that I probably will be single for the rest of my life because I am old school. I do believe that that relationships. I want to be married, and so what comes with that is something that's that I'm old school about, and I think navigating. Buzi said something so important. People don't know what partnership looks like. They don't know what that means. Do we partner financially? Do we partner emotionally? Do we partner spiritually? Do we partner physically? Do we partner intellectually? And what does that look like? And how can we massage our lives so that we can create that puzzle together? It's not going to just be a natural fit like a puzzle is. We've got to literally massage our lives, massage ourselves, but not to compromise our values. So, I'm old school, but it doesn't mean that I judge people that are not old school. But I think that marriage is an important part of our society, and I feel like the breakdown of marriage is the breakdown of our society. And for me, that's why I'm so passionate about the work that I do, is that I help couples to strengthen their connection.
I have friends in their 40s, others 50s and 60s. But I find that my peers in that spectrum between 40 and 50, they are more likely to want out of marriages, relationships. They feel constrained. Easily 9 out of 10 of my peers. I won't put them in trouble with their partners by mentioning their names, although that would be exciting. But I'm not going to risk that. But many of them want out. They feel constrained. And I'm wondering if there's a pattern. I'm wondering if there's something about that age that says to guys, I want to be free.
So there's a thing called andropause, which is masculine menopause. And so there's a natural decline in men's testosterone. So their sense of virility and vitality decreases. So their ability to get erections is also decreased. So, and then there's the advent of women going into menopause where they're not feeling sexual. So a big fallout in that age group is around sexuality. And one of the fallouts is around sexuality. So if you get a couple that are balanced hormonally and they're doing the deep work of healing their inner children and the upbringing that they had, and they're healing that work, and they're doing the healing work within their relationships, and they have their own lives. They don't rely on the other person to give them a life.
Yeah.
Then we are looking at I've taken people who've been in that exact situation, and a year or two later, like, wow, look at this amazing relationship we've built. We are so glad we didn't get divorced. But Thabo, I also understand that there's violence and trauma and abuse within relationships that need to be looked at as well. So 9 out of 10 is a very high amount of people we want out.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I could be a bad sample. I could be hanging around with bad people. So it shouldn't be used as a universal, global, accurate sample. 13 minutes to 12 o'clock.
Mama Million here, and yes, I am a millionaire. Are you ready to play Multiplay 2 from the 1st of September? I hope so. Multiplay 2, a new way to multiply your chances of winning the Powerball and the Lotto. Think about it like this. Multi is for multiple combinations. Play is for play more chances. And 2 is for 2 extra numbers. Now you can choose 8 numbers. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizakai.
Imagine a holiday where the only thing on the to-do list is enjoy yourself. With Norwegian Cruise Line, you can sail to over 400 destinations worldwide effortlessly. Visit ncl.com for the best deals or contact your travel agent today. Norwegian Cruise Line. It's different out here. T's and C's apply.
Why do the big guys all have loyalty programs, but none of the local favorites? Most loyalty programs are hard work, a new app to set up, cards to stamp, or lose, too much admin. Yoko Loyalty just runs. Points are earned automatically with every payment. Stop just running your business and get back to building it. Yoko, let's grow.
Relationship issues
Relationship Talk.
on 702.
072 702 1702. Leigh Joy is my guest, relationship coach. Let's go to what you had to say.
Mr. T, good morning, and our resident therapist. Speaking to Otto, I've been emotionally unavailable for a while. Reasons being, relationships these days have become transactional. You know, people tend to, I said yesterday to a friend that it feels like an extortion now to be in a relationship because you have to meet certain standards financially. You can meet the standards emotionally, but they don't care. You know, there's girlfriend allowances, there's this and that. And it's more relationships nowadays have become more of I take more than I give. The 50-50 rule doesn't work. You know, we should both be 100-100, you know. And this notion of what you bring to the table also becomes a problem because now people are expecting so much from one person, whereas they give so little in return. So that's why I'm saying that relationships are not the same anymore. There's no more romance. Everything is based on what we see on social media pages and what the influencers teach us. It's normal because we love each other. Thank you. We're speaking to Otto and Soweto.
Otto, thanks very much for that. Leigh, let me throw that to you and also ask, what do you do? How do we reignite that desire to be in a relationship? What can be practically done to light the fire again?
So there are a variety of things. I work very passionately with couples in couples therapy, and where it's very practical. And I've had an amazing success rate with that. And then there are 2 other things that I'm really excited about. In November the 13th to the 15th, Marco Wild is our private chef and musician, and Natasha Dippenaar owns the beautiful, and Alvain Dippenaar own the beautiful Lake Kingfisher Lakeside Resort, and we've got a couples retreat there. That is on the 13th to the 15th of November. So that's really about how do you reconnect, how do you communicate, what are your love languages, what is your self-care individually, what is your self-care together. So really just taking your relationship to the next level. And then a paddle retreat with Brett McKenzie, who's a world-class paddle coach. Him and I are running a retreat at Match Paddle in Four Ways from the 18th to the 20th of September. And that you can be a romantic couple, or it could be just friendship, or it could be a colleague that you join that with. And there are only 8 spaces for that and 4 spaces available for the couple retreat. But as you can see, my passion is really around connection, authentic connection, and being vulnerable. So if you're willing, like Audra very honestly said that he's emotionally unavailable. And when people are emotionally unavailable, often people will reach for something else, and then money is the first thing that they go to. Because they're feeling abandoned emotionally. So if he had to show up emotionally, he may find that he'll attract somebody that's not just after him for his money.
Can I come alone to the couple's relationship? I'm kidding.
I'd love you to come.
Could it be that conventional relationships have reached the expiry date? We need to reimagine a new form of a relationship that is not bound or confined to what we were taught a relationship is back in the day?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that our needs have changed as a society. And like if we look at baby boomers just to Gen Xers, and our needs from each other and our needs from ourselves. Fathers today that are involved with their children are way more emotionally available to their children than the boomers were. The boomers, they like children were seen and not heard. Whereas men that are involved with their children's lives now are remarkable men. So I think there's in many households, there's a very deep understanding of what 100% looks like. And I love what Brene Brown talks about, that you can't bring 100% all the time. And her and Steve, her husband, have this thing like when they get home, they're like, okay, what's your capacity?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, babe, I'm like on a 20%. And she's like, don't worry, I've got that
got
80. I'll do it. Or they're both like on a 10.
Yeah.
Then they're like, okay, nobody's making dinner. No homework is being done.
Yeah.
I don't even think the kids are going to get bathed beginning takeout.
Yeah.
So I think having a team mentality
Yeah.
is really what is going to drive our ability to have healthy relationships.
Again, that age bracket that I alluded to a little bit earlier on would insist that perhaps monogamy is the real issue, where they now come to a realization that they can't just be committed and love one person only. And it's such a massive cloud hanging above us, this issue of monogamy. And a number of people feel, I just wanted to know that I have someone else. And it would be much better if she accepts that, because I can't just love one person.
I mean, look at the polygamist, right? Sue Nati wrote the most brilliant book. And you're like... Jonah, dude. There's so many Jonases in the society.
Yeah.
And obviously we're looking at sex addiction as a problem as well. If men do it, it's like they're like, okay, cool, he's got a notch in his belt. But if women do it, then they're slags, right?
Yeah.
So there's not this, and what does having a side chick actually give you? Like, do you actually love her, or is she a side chick and it's actually just great
Peace
sex?
of mind?
Yeah. Peace of mind in what way?
No screaming, no expectation, and just be you when you're with her.
So I worked with a client who was married and he had a side chick, and he was like, oh, it's amazing. I just think she's great. Whenever I arrive there once a week, she makes me dinner naked in an apron. There's no screaming, there's no shouting, there's no demand.
Yeah.
And I said to him, okay, so if you get divorced, I'll put $100 on the table now that it'll change if you had to date her. And it so did work out that he did get divorced and he did date her. And within a month, he was like, I'm done with this relationship because it's the same stuff that was
But that's why you need to keep 2 then, some would argue. Perhaps that's the reason why you need to keep her whilst you're married. Isn't that a good argument for that? That cool, it won't work if it's just her. It works when there's a wife involved.
Okay, as long as the wife can have a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
Wow. Leigh opening a can of worms as usual. Leah, how do people find you?
079 525-8991. And then I'm on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook as Leigh Joy Inspires.
Leigh Joy, relationship coach, and my friend, we were asking our relationships on the decline. Thanks very much, Leigh. Always lovely chatting to you, and I hope to speak to you again in another time.
So much love.